Hi, this is Mrs. Knopf, and today we are going to continue in our method book with line 48, Polly Wolly Doodle. So you may not have seen this before, but we have some eighth rests. So I don't want you to freak out looking at this. It's not nearly as complicated as it may look. So we're going to go through it. We're going to figure it out. So at the beginning, we have our treble clef as always. Then we have our key signature. We have two flats. Our B flat on the third line tells us that all B's are flat, and our E flat on the fourth space tells us all E's are flat. Two flats in your key signature, in this case, tells us we are in the key of B flat. Then we have our time signature. We are in 4/4 time. The top number tells us the number of beats in each measure. The bottom number tells us the value of the whole note. So we're going to break that down. So we have a whole note. It gets 4 beats. Half of a whole is a half, and half of 4 is 2. So if we had a half note, it would get 2 beats. Then half of a half is a quarter, and half of 2 is 1. So if we had a quarter note or quarter rest, it would get 1 beat. Now, half of a quarter is an eighth, and half of 1 is half. So we have plenty of eighth notes, and they almost always come in pairs. In this case, the first eighth note in a pair is the downbeat. It's the number of the beat. The second eighth in the pair is the and, or the upbeat. So when I have this pickup into the beginning, 4 and 1. So I have this pair of eighth notes, and then I have a single eighth note followed by an eighth rest. It looks like a fancy 7. With this eighth note, eighth rest combination, you are going to just give it some space. So when you're counting, you're going to think 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now I have all eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then on the next line I do have a dotted half note. Now if you remember, a dot gives a note half of that note's value. So remember that a half note in 4/4 time is worth 2 beats. Half of 2 is 1, so I'm going to add 1 beat for the dot, and that dotted half note gets 3 beats. So just make sure that you are resting but not taking too big of a break. Just pretend that these eighth rests are eighth notes that don't get played. All right, so we're going to look for patterns. We do have a pickup or an anacrusis at the beginning. So you would count 1 and 2 and 3. You would breathe, of course. And then you would start out, you've got a B flat, so thumb and 1 and pinky. Lift the index finger on your right hand and your thumb for the C. Then switch everything out for the D. You have 2 Ds. Back to the B flat, and then you repeat that pattern. B flat, C, D, D, B flat. This time, you're going to play all eighth notes. So B flat, C, 4 Ds in a row. Then we have our pinky for 2 E flats, back to 2 more Ds, and then we're on the next line with that dotted half note C. Now, the next part, it's exactly like what you had at the beginning, but we're starting 1 note lower. So we're starting on our A, our new A. So thumb, 1, 2, pinky on the foot joint, A, B flat, 2 C's with that space in between, down to A. Do that again. A, B flat, C, C, A. Now we have all eights. 2 C's, 4 F's, so thumb, 1, 2, 3, 1, pinky. Then we switch out for the E flat, go to 2 C's, and then we end on a whole note B flat. So I have my metronome ready. It's going to be at 84 beats per minute. And when you count 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Look ahead. 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so let's try this. Do your best to keep up with me. If you need to stop the video and work something out slower, you may do that. Here we go. 1, 2, 1 and ready. And that's it. So it's not as complicated as it might look. You just have to treat those eighth rests like they're eighth notes that do not get any sound, because that's what they are. They're eighth rests. Also, start each note with a t sound, and do your best to keep up with where you are, because when you have all of these eighth notes together, it's easy to get lost. So do your best. I hope this has been helpful, and we'll see you next time.